Let me show you how to get started in Canvas for this class. This is the home page for our course in Canvas. You can use, from the home page, you can jump to any of the topics that we'll be covering this semester. You can review the course syllabus. You can contact me. This link is not just my contact information, but also to various resources like tutoring on campus and sites that have videos about economic topics. There's technology help, and you can. So we'll talk about this start here in a bit. You'll notice in the to-do list here, there's quite a bit to do by the first week of class. I don't want you to be intimidated by this. Most of it is very straightforward, and the other part that's not as straightforward, you'll get help once we meet in class. So let's start here and see how to get started in the class. This provides me a brief introduction to who I am. And then if you click next, it gives you instructions for getting set up for class. I recommend going through these bullet points in order. They'll help you be prepared for the first day of class. You can also see this list if you click on modules. And there's something I want to point out as from this module view. If you scroll down and look at some of the future modules, starting with topic 2, you'll notice that you don't have access to the assignments in topic 2 until you have completed the introduction to the class module. So in the introduction to the class module, you'll notice some of these items have a circle. Once this circle turns into a green check mark, then you know that you've completed it. And once you've completed all the green check marks, then you will have access to all the future modules. So you can either, again, you can access all of these pages from the Get Set Up for Class list, or you can go through it through the module. So the first thing that I recommend that you do is get access to the textbook. There's instructions for gaining access to McGraw-Hill Connect, which is where you read the textbook. Once you have access to the textbook, I would recommend reading Chapter 1 and Chapter 3. We won't be going through Chapter 1 in class, but you are expected to know those some of the concepts in Chapter 1 in order to understand the rest of the concepts for the semester. In addition to the textbook, I have provided some other resources to help you learn those topic 0 learning outcomes that are covered in Chapter 1. So you'll find those here in this topic 0 module. These first 2 links are videos that I prepared teaching these learning outcomes, and then once you've read Chapter 1 and watched the videos, you can take the topic 0 learning outcomes quiz, which also verifies that your Proctorio is set up correctly. All right, so once you've gained access to the textbook, be sure that you mark this page as done. That's what changes that circle into a green check mark in the modules. Then you can click next. Notice that there's no mark as done here because in order to verify that you have done this, you just take the topic 0 learning outcomes quiz. So you just click next once you've set up Proctorio. This page does have a mark as done. I would like you to download, if you haven't already, all the Microsoft Office apps. So Excel, Word, Outlook, and of course Teams. Those are all free to download using your UVU credentials if you just follow the instructions from this website. Next is the syllabus quiz. Make sure that you read through the syllabus. These are links to the syllabus. You'll also need to read this chapter in a book called Make It Stick: The Science of Successful Learning. I've set up the course to follow the suggestions made by these authors in this book that are based on scientific research. So it's understanding where I'm coming from will help you understand how to do well in this course. You need to get 100% on this quiz in order to get this to turn into a green check mark. So you can retake this quiz as often as you need to in order to get 100%. But of course, don't spend too long on it. If you are getting stuck on a particular question that for some reason you can't get right, please contact me as soon as possible. And then you'll take the topic 0 learning outcomes to test that your Proctorio is working, but also to make sure you've at least gotten some exposure to these topic 0 learning outcomes. So as you read chapter 1, you'll notice that a lot of chapter 1 is about stuff other than these 4 things. The instructions suggest that you look for the following outcomes while you read chapter 1, which means that if you're reading a section of chapter 1 that doesn't have to do with these learning outcomes, you're welcome to just skip it or skim through it more quickly. So these are the things that I really care about and that you'll be tested on. The last thing that you'll need to do is to introduce yourself. Tell us the name you like to go by and write a 6-word story about yourself. Once you've done these things, then once you go back to modules, you'll notice that all those things that you've done should be now green check marks, and you should then have access to all future modules. You'll notice that this topic 1 module is not locked because we will be going through that parts of this together in class. So this T1 Prepare and Reflect, normally the purpose of a Prepare and Reflect assignment is to prepare you for the next week's classes. But since we don't have any time before class starts on Wednesday to actually complete an assignment, this T1 Prepare and Reflect is actually due by the end of the semester. So that's why you see the October 10th due date. But you will need to start reading chapter 4 to prepare for topic 2, which is what we're covering starting August 28th. So that's the T2 Prepare and Reflect is due on Saturday. So once you finish reading chapter 3 to prepare for class on Wednesday, go ahead and start reading chapter 4 so you can start working on this Prepare and Reflect assignment. These in-class problems we're doing together in class on Wednesday, August 23rd. We're doing them in class on August 23rd, but the due date is August 26th in case you just need more time to finish writing it up and submitting it. During class, we'll also briefly talk about how to complete this application assignment, which is also due on August 26th. And then this quiz is also due on August 26th. I know it's a lot to have a 20-point quiz within the first few days of class starting, but we need to have this quiz in order to help us solidify the concepts that we're learning from topic 1 and help us move on to topic 2. I don't expect you necessarily to do super well on this first quiz, which is why there's also makeup points. So I suggest that you complete the quiz early enough, either on Thursday or Friday, so that you can complete makeup points that will be applied to the quiz. So I'll talk more about how all of these work in a later posting, but just a heads up, as you look at your calendar, all these things are pretty straightforward and easy to finish, and we'll do this in class, we'll get a start on this in class, and then you'll need to work on the T2 Prepare and Reflect and the quiz and then make up points on your own before August 26th. Please let me know if you have any questions or concerns as you prepare for class. I look forward to meeting you on August 23rd.